I'm dumb, you're not. That's the subject of today's episode of the GymCrafter podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the GymCrafter podcast. My name is Tim. I'm the head gym nerd here at GymCrafter.com, the website that I built to help ordinary folks like you and I build home and garage gyms that we absolutely love, and we are going to try something new today. I've been thinking about going to 2 episodes a week, and I was thinking, what could I do for the second episode that would actually make you guys want to tune in, because why make something if you're not going to watch it? But B, what would be fun for you guys? What doesn't exist out there in the world? And what I was thinking is a lot of podcasts do AMA episodes, which is Ask Me Anything. And I realized that that's a little bit narcissistic. Like, I'm going to tell you what I think anyway. That's why I make podcasts. So I don't need you guys to ask me a ton of questions. And I'm not well known enough yet to have anybody really care what I think. So thank you for tuning in, because that shows that you at least kind of moderately care. But I want to know what you guys think. I really want to know, it's like I say all the time, as much as I know about home gym stuff, and I've been doing this for quite a while now, and I've been working out at home since I was 13, and I'm 53 now, so that's 40 years of training on and off at home. You guys collectively know way more than I do. So I want to start finding out about you guys. So I'm going to do episodes instead of AMAs, we're going to call them A's, AYEs, Ask You Everything. And if you can come up with a better name, please let me know. I've been thinking about this for weeks, and that's the best I could come up with. Like I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So if you guys come up with a better name for asking you stuff, I am happy to change the name. What we're going to do is I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, right? And I'm going to go over the question, I'm going to go over what my answer would be, and then you in the comment section are going to tell me why I'm wrong, why I'm right, or what your alternate answer is. And then in the next episode, what I'll do is I'll go over what your answers were, I'll ask some more questions, and hopefully we'll just kind of ping pong those down the road. And it may be something that I do once a month, depending on how many responses I get. It may be something that I do like every Friday we'll do it. It shouldn't be a long episode. I don't want to make another 45-minute episode or 30-minute episode that you need to watch. Just something fun that you can tune into, something to get you thinking. And it'll all be home gym related, or maybe it might be. I don't know. We'll see. Again, you let me know. And if there's any questions you think I should ask, let me know that as well. Before we get into the questions, as always, I do want to do a quick update. So today I want to do a training update. As I let you guys know a couple of episodes ago, I did finish a 12-week program, John Russ's Functional Power Training, and then I'm using the Carbon Diet Coach app. I'm hitting my weight loss goals. I lost like 15 pounds in 12 weeks, which is exactly 16 pounds, something like that. Actually, it was 18 pounds in 12 weeks is what I lost. Pretty happy with that. And I'm starting to get thin in the face, which I do tend to look a little skeletal-like when I lose a lot of weight, so I may stop before my goal, depending on how gaunt and old I look, but we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to run that again, and my goal is to lose another 15 pounds, and then in January I'm going to really hit the gym hard and go up to a calorie surplus and see how much weight or how much muscle I can gain in my 50s, just for funsies, right? But I did take a week off, and I wanted to touch on that really quickly. A lot of my clients were like, you took a week off? We've never seen you not work out, right? And the thing is, I think a lot of us are afraid to take time off, either because we don't want to lose our habit, right? Like if you know you're the type of person where if you take a couple days off, you're just not going to go back in the gym, then what I'm going to talk about probably doesn't apply to you. But I took a week off. It was a good time. I wanted to take what they call a diet break. I just went to maintenance calories for a week, and it gave me a little bit of a break from a calorie deficit. And then I stopped working out in here. And what I did was I love being outside. So I took my dogs on some really long hikes, some nice elevation changes. I played a lot of disc golf. I played competitive disc golf for over 20 years at this point. So I played a lot of disc golf. The weather here in Illinois has been just fantastic. Gosh, it does seem like it's rained like once in the last 3 months. It's been in the low 70s, high 60s with no humidity. It's just been a perfect time to spend outside, riding my bike, like I said, walking the dogs, just really enjoying life. And so it's not that I didn't exercise, it's just that I didn't lift weights. But a lot of people ask, how long can you do that before you start losing strength? And it's a pretty easy answer. Most studies show that you can not lift for 1 to 2 weeks and not lose any strength at all. Some studies show even up to 3 weeks with no strength loss. For me, I probably cap it at 2 weeks, which covers most vacations. Because unlike a lot of people, if I go on vacation, I learned a long time ago, I used to go on vacation with all the plans in the world of hitting the hotel gym every day. And there were a few vacations where I did, but most of the time I'm like, I'm just gonna go over to the pool that's over there, not in this gym. So I stopped trying to work out on vacations a long time ago, and you can easily take 2 weeks off, and you might put on a little weight on vacation, but you're not gonna lose any strength. So don't worry about that, don't sweat it. If you've been thinking about taking a week or two off, go ahead and do it, especially this time of year. We're heading into fall. There's some beautiful weather outside to take advantage of. So I don't know that I would take a week or two off and just sit on the couch, but if you're gonna do other activities, it's not a bad idea. You're not gonna lose all your strength. I know it's a big fear of a lot of people, especially if you work really hard to put it on, but don't sweat it. Take some time off if you need to. And the diet breaks are a really good idea. I like to do it every 12 weeks, just because it pairs up with my programming. But every 12 to 16 weeks of, especially if you're in a caloric deficit, it's a great idea to take a week, or even if it's just 3 days to a week, and go to either a maintenance or even a little bit of a surplus. Not enough, keep in mind, you've got to eat an extra 3,500 calories to gain a pound. So you don't have to, you don't have to pig out, but you don't have to worry about gaining a ton of weight if you just eat a little extra for a week. And what that does is it kind of resets, not to get too tactical, but it resets your leptin and ghrelin, which is your hormones that control how hungry you are. And what I've found is it prevents that dieting plateau, because all of us have been there where your body has now adapted to the calorie deficit, and now you've got to eat even less, and that's no fun. So I found that taking those diet breaks are really helpful for me. They're helpful for my clients. So that's what I did. But let's get into the first episode of please, can somebody please come up with a better name than that? I don't like it, but that's what I got for now. But anyway, so here we go. 3 questions. I'm going to tell you what my answers are. You tell me what your answers are. We can fight about it in the comments, and then the next time I record, we'll give you guys what the most popular answers are from all of you, and tell you just how dumb and wrong I am. The first question is really fun. So in the gym right now, as I rebuild and put new gear in here, it's time to start thinking about what to put on the walls. I'm really torn on whether or not I want to put a TV back in here. I had one before. I didn't use it a lot. I typically like to train to music. However, I do like to train to a movie every now and then. I won't watch TV, and typically don't do YouTube, but just a movie in the background that gets me motivated to train. So I want to know, what are your top 5 movies to train to? And I look back, now I don't have streaming services anymore. I haven't had them for a while. It was costing me more than cable was, which is why I got rid of cable. So I've gone to all either commercial service like Tubi or Freevee or something like that, or just movies that I own, and YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube. But so I looked at the movies that I have and what I watch most, and I compiled the 5 movies that I watch most, and then one when I had Netflix that I'll throw in there, which I think is an awesome movie. I'm a guy. I stopped developing in here at about 14, so you'll see that by these movies. But here's what I like to train to. Number 1, these are no particular order. The first John Wick, I don't think you can get a better training movie than that, other than maybe some of these other ones. But man, talk about motivating you to just work hard, push hard, get aggressive in the weight room. I think all the John Wick movies are great, but I personally like number 1. And not to be a spoiler, but the movie's been out for a really long time. When bad things happen to dogs, it makes me mad, and I can lift more. So that's that. And great movie. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. If you have, you know what I mean. There's nothing like having John Wick in the background when you're training. It just fits in a gym. Number 2, Rocky 4. Now, the best one is Rocky 1, but Rocky 4 is the one that I like to have on, because when Rocky's training to fight Ivan Drago, nothing makes me want to work out more than that. That training montage, which was a thing in the 80s, every movie that was out, I think, had a montage of some type, and that training montage where he's training in the mountains, and it's just awesome. Now, Rocky 1's great, because he's training, he's hitting the meat and stuff like that, and really any Rocky movie will work, but for me, Rocky 4 is the one that Rocky 4 is the one that I like to train, and we beat the Russians, so how can you not like that, especially in today's day and age, right? It seems like everything old is new again. So we're back to fighting Russians apparently, and Rocky IV is a really good movie to have on in the gym. Another one is The Dark Knight, the first of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. Those are three of my favorite movies of all time. I hate that they've ruined Batman again. Sorry for all you DC fans out there, but all of the ones that came out since the last Christopher Nolan one have been garbage. And just go back and watch these three again. And the first one, when he's training with Ra's al Ghul in the mountains, again, training montage. How can you go wrong with that? Fighting ninjas. I mean, it's so good. But, oh man, I'm a huge Batman fan. One of the things that you saw hanging up in the old gym was a Batman poster, a little Batman thing. It will be back up in this gym if I don't get something bigger. I'm a huge Batman fan. I like Batman because he's just a dude, right? He's just a dude with money and determination, and makes me want to train. So Dark Knight, awesome movie. And boy, for some of you younger folks out there, I don't know how you wouldn't have seen these movies, but if you do like the newer Robert Pattinson Batman crap, go back and watch these three. These are the best Batman movies ever made. And I will put an honorable mention for Michael Keaton's Batman, because that was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and it's a great movie, but doesn't make me want to train. So Michael Keaton, for some weird reason, right, doesn't make you want to lift weights. But Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, especially the first one, really, really good. The next one, I am a huge James Bond fan, and Casino Royale. The parkour scene at the beginning, just a great movie. Just, you know, James Bond, badass. Watching badasses on the screen in your gym makes you want to train, and I love watching that movie. I've seen that movie more than any other James Bond movie, and if you knew me, I've seen all 25 James Bond movies, minimum of 10 times each. I'm a huge James Bond nerd. So to say that's my favorite one is saying a lot, and I watch that all the time. The other ones are good in the series with Daniel Craig, and they're great movies, but as far as the one that makes me want to train, Casino Royale is it. If you haven't seen it, good movie to watch. Next one is The Matrix. Matrix I would put on probably of all of these, the least of all of these, but still a great movie to train. And again, training montage, right? I know Kung Fu, right? I mean, come on, it's great. So that's the movie. So those are the 5 movies that I've watched the most in the gym by a lot. Now, when I used to have Netflix, there's a movie called Six Underground, kind of a sleeper. It is a turn your brain off, pretend you're a 14-year-old boy and don't care about plot, but you just want action from beginning to end. I think it's a Michael Bay movie, and I don't know how many things they blow up in this movie, but it's a lot. And it's got Ryan Reynolds in it, and he's always awesome in everything. And I've watched that movie a lot. So when I had Netflix and that movie came out, I probably watched it every day for at least a couple of weeks when I was in the gym. And no matter what part of the movie, it's one of those movies where it doesn't really matter what's happening. You could just forget the plot. Whatever you look up at, it's cool. Something's blowing up, somebody's getting shot, and it's a total just popcorn action movie. So that's a bonus 6 pick. So what do you guys think? What are your top training movies? What are your top, if you've got TVs in your gym or you had a TV in your gym, what movies do you like to watch? Why do you like to watch them? And why are my picks wrong? So like I said at the beginning, I'm dumb, you're smart, tell me why I'm wrong. Let's move on to the next question. And the next question, actually, I stole from somebody's comment on one of my videos a while back, which is, if money and space were no object, what are the top 3 things you would go out and buy for your garage gym? And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say, because I don't think many people are going to agree with mine. The number one thing that I would go out and buy tomorrow, if money was no object and I had the space, is a free motion functional trainer. I have grown to love having a cable system in my garage. I didn't realize how much I would like it until I had it. And then I went over to a friend's house who has a free motion, and wow, it's a completely different thing. Now the Inspire FT2 is close-ish, but it's just not the same. The angles that you can get, the smoothness that you get from the free motion, it really is. There's a reason it's the industry standard. There's a reason it's in every physical therapist's office. There's a reason that, Coop, when you look at his actual home gym that he actually uses, that's the functional trainer he uses, and there's somebody who can have anything, right? They're super expensive. They're ridiculously overpriced, but I really think they're worth it. And if I could go out and buy something tomorrow and you said, hey Tim, here's my Visa card, go out and buy what you want, that's probably the first thing that I would buy. So again, I really like it. And I love that, everybody's finding a way to work cable systems into their racks, but there's something to be said for just having a freestanding functional trainer that A, you're not tripping over the functional trainer to use the rack that it's on, and B, you don't have to worry about trying to use kind of a hodgepodge rack that's made for a functional trainer. It's just, it's awesome. If you've never used one and you get a chance, try it out. I have a lot of people go, why would you spend that much? Anybody who asks that question has not used a free motion functional trainer. The second one might take you guys by surprise just because it's a relatively unknown product. It's a Zebex Sled Track 6000. So I have my Torque M3 sled, which I really like, but I'm going to sell. You'll see a review. I've had it for almost 3 years. I love it. I'm gonna post a review really soon. If you live someplace where you can use it, I highly recommend that type of a sled. I love sled work. It's become a regular staple in my training. It's really fixed any knee problems that I had. I used to have real bad knee problems, and I don't have knee problems anymore. Just pulling the sled backwards alone has really helped. Lower body strength, hip mobility. It's just, I love pulling it with the rope. I love everything about it. The issue is that I live in Illinois, and it's September, and while the weather's been really nice, I'm about to go into a 4 to 6 month period where I'm not going to be able to use this thing. So I think this is the year that I'm finally going to sell it. I want to replace it with a treadmill that has built-in sled pushing functions. Now, some sleds or some treads, you can just turn them off, or they have a setting where you push and you can just push the treadmill with your feet, and that's okay, and I've done that before. What the sled track does is that there are these handles that actually have some move to them. So when you use it, it feels like you're pushing a sled. There's a ton of variable resistance. It's super sweet. Now, it's super expensive. I think it's $4,000 or $4,500, maybe $3,900, I don't know. I'll put links to everything I'm talking about down below so that you can check it out if you have never heard of the stuff I'm talking about. But yeah, the Zebex Sled Track 6000, I really, really want one. And I'm looking forward to hopefully having one someday. It's not in the budget right now. But again, if space and budget weren't an option, I would definitely buy one of those, especially living where I live. If I didn't live in this climate, I would keep the Torque. But I do live in this climate, and all my family's here, so I'm not moving. So I'm stuck here. I might as well work around it, right? The third thing that I would buy is the Rep Fitness Hyperion. And I think this thing is a sleeper that has kind of gone under the radar. Everybody knows about the Aries, everybody knows about the Athena, everybody knows about the Adonis, everybody knows about all those popular ones that you've seen on all the garage gym channels. The Hyperion is a wall system with a cable crossover at the outside, super wide, storage, a half rack with a lat pull down and a low row, runs like $6,500, $6,600, comes in clear grind, has storage in the middle. If I could put any, and I don't even think, even if I had the budget for it, I don't think I have the room for it. There's one wall behind the camera that it might fit on, but I think the rail for my garage door would get in the way. But man, if I had the space and I had the budget, I would buy that for my rack. It is just sweet. If you've never seen the Hyperion, again, I'll put a link down below for it. It is super sweet. Like it's like $6,590, I think is what it runs. And then of course, by the time you get done with their rack builder and add all of the shelves and the storage options and the attachments, and of course you'd have to have the Pegasus seat for it. And but again, money no object. The Rep Fitness Hyperion is pretty sweet. So what do you guys think? I'm gonna guess that very few of my picks actually match up with what you guys. So I'm super excited to see what you guys would buy if money and space were an object. So let me know in the comments below, what would you add to your gym? And like I said, next episode of hopefully we'll have a different name, and we'll let you know what you guys thought. The last question for today is the kind of the opposite of the second question, which is, if you had to sell all of your garage gym gear, let's say that your significant other came in and said, I'm sick of this, I want the garage back, you gotta sell all this stuff, we're parking our cars in here, you can go work out in the corner. Maybe not that extreme, but if you had to sell all of it, but you were allowed to keep 3 things or buy 3 things, just if you had to build a garage gym with just 3 implements, and that's it, no cheating, no, a weight plate, single weight plate is one thing. A set of plates is not one thing, right? So if you had to just get by with 3 things, what would they be? So for me, number one with a bullet is probably a 45-pound kettlebell. Now, might tinker with that weight a little bit. What I would want is I would want a kettlebell that was as heavy as I could currently do Turkish get-ups with, and as heavy as I could do an overhead press with. So if I could snatch it and overhead press it, and I could do a Turkish get-up, I would go as heavy as I could, even if I could only do 1 rep of those things, because you can work up to do more reps. But that's what I would get, and I would go as heavy as I could within those movements so that I could do one-arm swings for conditioning and posterior chain. You can do so much with a kettlebell, guys. I think that as popular as they are and you see them everywhere, I really think it's an overlooked implement. It's one of the most versatile implements out there. And yeah, a 45-pound-ish kettlebell would 100, maybe 55-pound, but whatever, you guys get the idea. A single kettlebell would be the first thing. The second thing would be a suspension trainer. And I probably wouldn't do TRX. And if I had to, I would just do a set of rings. But what I like is I like the straps from rings, and I'm gonna do a video on this real soon. And then I like the handles for a normal suspension system, because I think the straps for rings are the best. They're the easiest to adjust. You don't have all these contraptions and connectors and carabiners and stuff. And then as good as the rings are, I do like the functionality of having a handle that twists and spins and has a stirrup for your feet. But a suspension trainer of some type or a set of rings would be really good. Now I'm kind of breaking the rule that I said at first. I guess technically that's several parts, but I'm gonna call a suspension trainer one thing. And yeah, so a kettlebell, a suspension trainer, and then the last thing is just a band, like an exercise band. Again, not a set of bands, because I'm not allowed to have more than that, but I would have a band, probably a medium strength band. You can do a ton with bands. You can incorporate the band with the kettlebell work. You can incorporate the band with the suspension trainer. I went back and forth between band and jump rope, because I do enjoy jump rope for cardio. And you know, that's something I can do inside, it's something I can do outside, but I figured I could just go walk or walk my dogs for cardio. And a band of some type, a resistance band of some type, would be really beneficial. And I do a morning routine that keeps my shoulders healthy and keeps my posture good, at least as good as it can be. And I have to have a band for that. Like, that's something I'm not willing to give up, especially at 53. So those are my 3. Good sized kettlebell, suspension trainer, and an exercise band. So I'm, again, super curious to know what you guys will think. What would you have in your gym if you could only have 3 individual implements? So that's the first episode of A. And what do you guys think? Should we keep doing these more? Should I do them once a month? Should I go to 2 podcast episodes a week and do this once a week on Fridays? And maybe just keep it, I was thinking maybe even just do like 1 or 2 questions on Friday, and just maybe have like a Friday, you know, a question of the day on Friday. And then every week I'll just tell you what your answers were from the previous week, and then tell you the new question, what my answer is, and we'll go from there. Again, I want to know what you guys think. I've got tons of questions. If I could put, you know, these podcasts get thousands of downloads. So if I could put a couple thousand people who are smarter than I am about garage gym stuff in a room and ask you guys questions, I just realized I have the opportunity to do that. So that's what I'm doing. So let me know what you think about this type of episode. Let me know what your answers are to all those questions. Again, tell me where I'm dumb, tell me where I'm smart. You let me know what your answers would be, and we'll go from there. So if you've watched till now and you haven't hit the like button, why? Just hit the like button. You know you like it. You didn't watch this far and not like the episode, so hit the like button. Just please. And then if you do have an account with YouTube, please subscribe. If you've got an account with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this podcast, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit your notification bell so that you know when the next episode comes out, especially now that we're doing episodes where I'm going to give you what your feedback was. So if you want to hear if your answers made the cut, you got to subscribe. You got to hit that bell so that you know when the next episode comes out. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tim with GymCrafter.